guys. So I just want to talk about money a little bit in general. I made a lot of videos so far. I don't think anybody's really gonna go over all of them. They might. Somebody might just be like, "Oh, I want to learn about economics," and they might actually be interested in my videos and watch my. We'll see. Like I said, I just want to talk about money. I want to kind of narrow down some concepts and some of the fundamentals that I think are important. So, what's really important about money is understanding, first of all, there's no such thing as universal money. There's only groups of people that are willing to trade their stuff for money. So there's no such thing as universal money. You can't go bring your dollar to China, expect people to trade, expect that to be good in China. No. In China, generally speaking, they use whatever money they have, right? Other countries, the same thing. There's any part of the world, not even any part of the world, with anything that's used as money, there's only a certain group of people that are willing to trade their stuff for it. So I'm just going to use two examples right here. Let's use gold and silver. You got gold, you got silver, okay? So with both of these, there's a group of people that are willing to trade their stuff for it. You see what I'm saying? And with that, you can be sure that you can trade your stuff for it and trade it to one of these people that trade their stuff for it, for their stuff. And that's really what's super important about money. So we're just going gold, silver, and stuff. And stuff. Now, imagine you want something that somebody has, but they're only willing to trade their stuff for silver. But you've been trading your stuff for gold, so you have a bunch of gold, and you want what this guy has, but you don't want to trade silver. What do? Okay, if you're in America, you're doing business in America, you got a bunch of dollars, you go to China, try to get some, what do? You exchange your money for their money. It's very simple. So naturally, there's a group of people that use anything as money, and all you gotta do to get access to the other group is just exchange your money. It's really that simple. And that's really just how simple it is. It really, really is that simple. We can use gold, silver. There could be other groups over here. We can start over here. What type of money is this? I don't know. What type of money is this? I don't know. But people are just the same can trade their stuff for it. And put question marks. Question marks. And there's we gotta kind of gotta put them in there like that. But either way, you know what I'm trying to say here. There's multiple people can use. There could be 100. How many different types of money are there on planet Earth today? And it doesn't have to be localized by geographic location or political body. People can use gold and silver as money right now if they want to. And what it really comes down to is, are you willing to trade your stuff for it? And is there a group of people willing to trade their stuff for it? And if you want to trade your stuff for money, that's one thing. But you want a group of people so you can trade it to one of those people for their stuff. And you could say that gold's money right now. You could trade your gold or your stuff for gold right now, okay? And then that group of people might be small, so the person who has something that you want, might not, they might not want to accept gold in exchange for what they have. So what do? You cash out or you trade it for a different type of money. Maybe you gotta go get dollars, Chinese money, something like that. Yeah, you can literally use gold right now or silver. Trade your stuff directly for gold or silver. And like I said, that group of people that are willing to do the same might be a little bit small, but yeah, it still exists, doesn't it? Doesn't it? So gold and silver, yeah, money. The bigger that group gets, the more options you have to trade your stuff for it. Trade your stuff. The bigger that group gets, the more options you have to trade the money to. You know what I mean? And also, there's a supply and demand function with all this. The bigger the group of people competing for it, the higher its value is going to go. So it's basically, if someone gold on planet Earth, there's also what I call available supply. There's only so much gold that's, available. A lot of it could be hidden out somewhere in the middle of nowhere. But, so this is an available supply, and the more people compete for it, how are they gonna compete for it? Offer stuff. So they're gonna be competing by offering more and more stuff for it. So eventually it's gonna have a really high relative value to stuff, people are gonna be trading a lot of gold, or a lot of stuff for a little bit of gold or silver. Depending on how big that group is, how much competition there is for it, by way of people offering stuff. People will be making bigger and bigger offers. And so there's money. I've talked about it in plenty of other videos. I just want to kind of recap the basic, more important parts. And that's really what it is. Why I focus on all this, in large part, is because, using these fiat currencies that are just printed willy-nilly, it's dangerous. It's dangerous because, if you're holding your life savings in the dollar, and the value of the dollar is just fluctuating with the supply change, that's dangerous. It could go down to nothing shortly. Sorry, my computer's making noise. Either way, we can use whatever we want as money. That's really what it is. What it comes down to is you can trade your stuff for what you want. You can directly trade your stuff for the item that you want, the person's willing to. But usually you got to go into one of these types of money because that's what they accept in exchange for what they have, because naturally they can get what they want with that type of money. So it's the group of people that's really important with any type of money. It's how big is this group of people, because that it's like kind of determines its relevance. If this guy's way more likely to trade his stuff for silver if there's a big group of people, because there's a lot more options as to what he can trade the silver for, you know what I mean, as opposed to if there's a really small group of people that are going to trade their stuff for silver. So it's really that group of people. And I suggested we have like statewide currencies, have governments print currencies for public works and stuff, and like state by state. And naturally, if you go from state to state, just exchange the money real quick, no problem, simple. Nobody's going state to state that much, like every 5 seconds or nothing, so have it. It's just simple. I said this before, people are gonna print, somebody's gonna print money, and then, trade it for people's labor, work, stuff, then it might as well be, that work and labor might as well go towards something that's good for everybody, the public, so why not have the government print, money, so people can have a fiat currency or whatnot, among other types of money they decide to use. And naturally they can pay for public works. You don't have to, no taxes or anything like that, just print money to pay for stuff. And that means people have to be involved in the government, obviously, to make sure the government's not just, willy-nilly printing money. But yeah, that's a really simple way to have another money on the scene, state by state and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it should be multiple types of money, not 1 or 2 or 3 or even 4. How many different types of money is there right now in the world? There's plenty. Like I said, gold and silver, you can consider those money right now. It's just those groups are pretty small at the moment in comparison to a lot of other types of money that are being used. But generally speaking, yeah. What matters with any type of money is the group of people, and its value will change according to how big that group goes, and also how much is available. You can corner the market on any of these, and create an artificial shortage and stuff like that, and cause the price to go up depending on how big the demand for it is. And yeah, like I said, I suggest that in America, state by state, have a government print money and pay for public works, no taxes. And naturally, if they print money and this group grows, then the money will have a high relative value, so it'll take less money. You'll have to print less money to pay for the same amount of stuff if and when people are trading a lot of stuff per unit, more stuff per unit of currency. So for the same highway, depending on how big that group gets and how high the value of the money goes, it might only take, it'll probably take less, of that money to afford it. So the inflation won't go crazy or anything like that. So that's just some simple stuff to talk about. Money, highly relevant, highly relevant, and obviously you play with money every day, so it is what it is. Anyways, that's just some basic stuff to talk about. Fundamentals right here. That being said, talk to you guys later. Be safe, take it easy. love one another, give each other hugs and kisses. Talk to you guys later.